Hello, beautiful human. I am so excited. Frankie Jonas is an icon, and he's going to be hanging out with you, me, and Daniel
Yep.
any second. But please, leave your honest feedback in the comment section below. Like the video, and even if you hate us, subscribe.
Let's do this. Zach Show.
By the way, this is Dan,
What's up, man?
Frankie.
Hello.
Is it weird that you meet people that feel like they've known you for a long time because they've seen you for a long time?
No, yeah, it's absolutely no, it's a thing because I mean a lot of people have seen me since I was a kid, right? Since for the most part, a lot of people, especially in this industry, know my brothers personally. And my brothers have been on your show several times, and so no, I feel like in a way I'm catching up to meeting all these people.
It's kind of weird because I've known your brothers and your family and your dad for a long time. Like you, when you were younger, looked exactly like your dad, and now as you grow up, it's weird. Is it weird that you're living your life more publicly today than you actually lived it before?
No, absolutely. And what's weirdest about it is that I didn't intend to, like, I didn't mean to come and like be a thing. I said a thing. No, I just started making TikToks, and then this all sort of just happened.
You really are a thing, though. Is that? But do you think you were a thing before?
I think it was no. So what was interesting when like I started making TikToks and it started getting bigger was I found out about like these little sects of people who have been. I mean, like I thought of myself as a meme before all this, like just like and so. There was this like dormitorium in University of Chicago that had like a shrine to me for the past 5 years, and I had no idea about it. And they have like a gift exchange that was named after me, and like they theme it around like young Frankie Jonas, and it's all about like there's all these like pictures of me when I was like a 12-year-old. It's weird. Amazing. Like it's crazy.
So did this just feed the beast, you going on TikTok, right? You just gave the people what they wanted.
I think so. I think in a way, I think it definitely was so symbiotic the way it just sort of happened. I think that given sort of my brother's like comeback last year or 2 years ago now, we skipped a year, but
Totally.
Which was like their comeback was so massive and so big. I think a lot of people were possibly wondering like where was I in it, and then I think it was given quarantine, given like the rise in popularity of TikTok as like just one of the biggest apps ever. I think it just kind of gave the perfect motive to give me a voice in a way.
It is the right vehicle because it does, in many different ways, it celebrates authenticity. It celebrates no filter. It's like it's almost like the uglier you look in the video, the better chance you have of winning the algorithm and just taking off.
Exactly. No, and I think that's why I mean for a long time I like couldn't even see myself being online publicly at all. I had a lot of trouble with it. And then TikTok gave me this opportunity because when I made my account, like there was no one watching. I didn't know the algorithm worked. I didn't know if I made like videos that were in some way referencing my family or my brothers, that it would get picked up because like one person would see it and then comment or like, and then 5 people would see it. And I had no idea that was how it was going to work. And so it gave me the opportunity though to be myself and to be exactly who I was and am in that moment. And it worked.
Dude, and who you are is really the most fascinating and pretty cool in like, the weirdest way. I mean, clearly there's a cult in the works, and are there uniforms?
I've been working on them.
Okay.
I've been working on the uniforms.
I look really good in a robe. Anything that's like a muumuu that could just hang from my shoulders to my feet, that just drapes, doesn't like cling.
Okay.
Just
yeah, no,
keep that in mind.
I think I'm now that I'm kind of bridging into like a fashion world. I want to reach out to some designers about robes, but first we have to lock down the compound. That's the part.
Right.
That's the priority number one on my radar.
Where do you bring
Number
people?
two is, and then of course, but the thing is that you get the compound, you get the uniforms. We already have the doctrine,
Okay.
so the people will come.
But you got to have the place that they flock to. You need to have
Exactly.
that shining light, that star.
I need my Jonestown. So,
Question: did you really yourself as a kid?
oh my God, yes.
Wait, so okay, because you allude to the story. I was watching so many of your TikToks. I mean,
Thank you.
the story is legitimate. You did yourself as a kid, and that cost you a role.
No, it cost me my career in acting.
Wait,
What?
wait, stop it! No way. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a kid. Like, what are they talking about? How old were you? Was this recent?
Okay, so all right, story time. So I was 12 years old, and there was a show. It was like a reboot in a way of what was the R.L. Stein show. It was The Haunting Hour was the one that I was on.
Cool.
And I did 2 episodes. I did one, which was a Halloween episode, and then it did really well. And they were like, "Can you come back and do another episode?" When I came back, it was like a cowboy themed, like there's ghost cowboys on my farm, right?
Okay.
And we're filming in the summer of Canada, and there's a bunch of horses on set, and we're filming the final like big duel scene, right? And then I go in the morning and I go pet the horses because I've never been around a lot of horses. Like I just never have.
Yeah,
I go pet the horses.
you're from New Jersey. Horses aren't abundant.
I'm from New
there.
Jersey. Yeah, exactly. There's not a lot of horses in Jersey.
No.
But 4 hours after I pet these horses, we're filming this scene. We're in the middle of the scene. Not to get too gruesome in the details, but it's like the third take. Sweat is beating down my head,
Oh, no.
and I suddenly get the urge to like explode. Like my ass. I've never felt the kind of pressure that I did in this moment. And I'm holding it. I have a monologue. I have a monologue.
And you're in
I'm
outfit,
holding
like you're in
it-
wardrobe, you're in the costumes.
Oh, full wardrobe, like mic'd up. I'm about to myself, and like I'm holding it in. I'm doing the monologue, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I just can't, and like I let go of like the tectonic like plate that is my ass cheek to this point, even the slightest second, and it just like flows, and then we finished the scene, and my mom was not there, but my like sister was. So I was like, Rachel, I need to go to the bathroom immediately. So we run. We're walking to the bathroom. I forget I'm mic'd up. I look at her. I go, I already went. And then we get to the bathroom. I like rip off the wardrobe. I like if you've ever seen Daddy Daycare, like that's how the bathroom trailer looked. Like there was like on the ceiling, like I ripped, and then I go to the door, and then they bring me a new costume. I go back to set, right? I'm like, all right, it's all out of me. That was a thing.
There's nothing left now.
We can move forward. And this is where the story gets unbelievable. But I promise you, this is all real. This is all real. I get back to set. They say action. I'm in it. I'm like, yes, blah, 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 blah. I get 75% of the way through the monologue. And then I don't even have time to hold this one. It just erupts like Mount Vesuvius. And like, I'm standing there, and I once again, I don't want to get too gruesome, but I have to express the severity of this situation. I was wearing cowboy boots. The cowboy boots that were like my costume was tucked into my cowboy boots.
Did it hit the
cowboy boots were overflowing. Overflowing. And then afterwards, I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom again. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but like they don't have. Do they have 3 wardrobes ready to go?
So I walked to the bathroom, literally footprints of in my wake because it's flowing out of my cowboy boots. I get to the trailer. I take off my costume. My family, like my dad was pretty religious. Like I had never had people curse at me. Like I had not been around that a lot.
Oh no!
I'm in the trailer. I get off my costume. I go to the door. They give me the wardrobe people are there. They hand me the costume and they say, Frankie. They look me straight in the eyes, and I'll never forget it because it was such a real moment. They go, Frankie, this is the 3rd and final copy of your costume. If you in this costume, we will have to halt production for a day. For the love of God,
And by the way, like,
do not pants again.
They're now spending money they don't have. Like it's a whole thing. To stop production for a day is like you're stopping traffic flow. Like it's.
Oh, it was at that like practically doubles the budget.
Yeah.
I put on the costume. I go back to set. I'm like, but even this, I like wait in the bathroom for like 10 minutes
to make sure.
Really just trying to let it all out. I get to set. I walk on. They say action. 2 lines in, I yell cut, and I run. And while I'm running, it's just like I let it all out. I let it all out. It was bad. They had the whole production. They had a medic come, and apparently I'm like allergic to some bacteria that grows on a horse's mane.
What?
Whoa.
That can make you like lose control of your bowels. Was what I was told.
After all that, there's a medical reason as to. And by the way, I only laugh because I have 2. I had an accident or 2 upon myself in crucial moments in life. I can't lean on a horse's mane as my out. I wish. I gotta go back in my memory and see if there was a horse anywhere near.
I think that's the best story that's ever been told on our show, Frankie.
Yeah, hands down.
Oh my God, that's an honor.
That's
that
hilarious.
is an honor.
But okay, I just need some details here. There's a medical reason. The medic says this happened because of a horse's mane, but yet Hollywood still goes, you yourself 3 times on set. You're not. We don't want to work with you.
They had to extend production a day, so like it was the last day of shooting, so they had to like sign all the union guys up again.
Oh, and the whole crew hates you, dude. They're all ready to leave.
The whole crew hates me, but like they also like can't hate me because I was mic'd. Like they heard me be like, "Oh, I can't." Like,
Did the scene ever get shot?
the scene got shot the following day with like just these like angry roadies, like these angry union guys who hate me. And then I was told like years later that because I auditioned once or twice after that, and not only was I like blacklisted, I was also like I didn't want to act after that experience.
Yeah, that's traumatizing. Yeah, that will. Dude, I had an accident on an airplane, and it's ruined how I go to the bathroom in public for the last, like 18 years or something. Like it's been. I delayed an airplane from takeoff, going from Newark to Orlando. I was going to Disney with my family on a trip. And I delayed the entire plane because before takeoff, I had to go. And they started banging on the door, and they made an announcement shaming me. And I was around like 10, 12. And, yeah, dude, I haven't gone number 2 in a public restroom I can't even – I could tell you because when it happens, it's so huge in my life.
I'm going to be honest. I always wonder what creates the people who can't public.
Yeah.
Like I always wonder about like what is the story that created that thing, and that's valid. That is understandable why you would never want to experience that ever again.
And maybe if I was like my age now, like I'd be able to weather that storm a little bit better of like a public shaming. But when you're 10 or 12 in your case, that it is a stain that does not get away. It does not wipe away.
No, you cannot take that off.
Those are tracks on the underwear of life that will never wash out.
And what I was told years later, by a producer was, I told him, I was like, yeah, I wasn't going to act after that anyway. And he was like, oh, you couldn't have. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, oh, you were known for that experience for a while.
Did you genuinely back then, what was your goal? Was it to be a thespian? Did you see what, Nick, Joe, and Kevin were doing and you wanted to do that? Or did you it was a part of you figuring out who you were?
It was definitely a part of me figuring out who I was. I mean, we moved to LA, right? And then when we moved to LA, it was pretty much immediately they did their appearance on Hannah Montana. The week that we got to LA.
Crazy.
And so for me, I mean, when I got there, it was just kind of like, well, I mean, Frankie could act, Frankie could do something. And then the first audition I ever went on was Ponyo, and I got it.
Wow. I remember
it was me
when
and
you were
Noah.
there. Wow.
Yeah.
That was an animated movie. It was phenomenal. Wasn't it nominated for all these awards? It was gorgeous.
I know. I've since gotten accepted to Columbia University, and that's still the thing I'm probably most proud of that I've done in my life.
Yeah, it was an extraordinary movie. It's really crazy that I remember seeing your brothers perform at the Willowbrook Mall in New Jersey. It's great.
Wow.
It's
you were there.
Yeah.
There.
Hell yeah, I was.
Wow.
I lived right down the street, and that concert changed my life. But it is weird to think that y'all come to LA, and the first week you're really ever here also becomes the week that kind of changes everybody's life. And that movie is a game changer because, it's voiceover. So if you pooped yourself, it would have been easier to manage.
It definitely would have been. It still would have been a little bit of a thing.
Yeah.
Then I enjoyed acting. I thought it was a lot of fun. And then after that experience, I took a needed hiatus from it.
Yeah. So at what point do you want to go public again? Because making a TikTok had to be. Did you really not know at the time that this had the opportunity to reach people? Were you really naive to that? Or did you know, okay, if I do something, people are going to pick up on it?
So I went a year without downloading TikTok. I thought I was, really cool for not having the app on my phone. I thought I was, this, superior being because I had not succumbed to, the psyop that TikTok was at the time. And when I downloaded it, within the first week, my first day I was making TikToks because I thought it was funny. I was convinced to download it by my girlfriend, and immediately I was just in it. I was just oh, this makes sense to me. And then I didn't know how the algorithm worked. I was really naive to the whole thing. And so when my first TikTok that went sort of viral from my account with 10 followers, and all 10 of them are people that I play Minecraft with, right? It was a video where it was show yourself and a celebrity you look like, and I put my brothers, and I made this funny little thing. It was this weird little video. It was just for me because I thought it was funny. Didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Genuine, and it then got 700,000 views, and then the next day I was oh. Well, now there's people watching, and they're watching it, but I'm being me, so let's just commit to the bit. And then I made a video about how I got kicked out of Belmont University, and then that went even more viral because people remember that as the last time they heard my name.
Dan, do you know that story?
Yeah, he got arrested for smoking with possession of weed outside of a gas station. That was 2015 or 16, right?
Jesus.
Yep, you know your stuff.
Yeah, I remember that came out because everyone's oh, the Jonas Brothers' brother was arrested. And that's how a lot of people heard about you, and that's also the last time we really heard much from you.
Arresting people for cannabis is so a Reagan-era thing. What the going on?
I will say this much. It's Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, I get it.
It's different.
If there's any
it was
place
also
for it to be
it was also a
enforced.
gas station. you know what you're getting into.
Do you have to, after your TikToks start going viral, do you have to kind of prevent yourself from doing so much about your brothers or your family? Because I feel that's easy views and likes, which is good. But at the same time, do you really want to make your whole career about talking about your family?
Absolutely. No, yeah. I think at first there was a lot of stuff that I enjoyed because like I mean like for me in a weird way I'm kind of like a super fan of them in a way where I can't help but be. You know, like I know all the trivia. Like I've heard the songs thousands of times. I've been to more shows than any other person has probably been to. And so for me, it was, I had a lot of like thoughts and opinions on it all. And like, I've been wanting to share them for like a long time. For instance, with like the Married to Jonas video that I did, where I like did all the sound clips from that show. Like that's something that like I've loved and equally made fun of that show since it came out. I watched that show in my free time. Like, not even a joke. I genuinely watch Married to Jonas all the time. I think it's an incredible show.
Do you do it to them? It's a hidden gem. Well, are you learning new things that you didn't know before?
Yes, because like when I first watched the show as a kid, I like couldn't really understand a lot of it. But now watching it, it's like a different perspective because I know my family now as an adult so much different than I knew them at the time. Because I mean, I am so much younger than them. I'm 8 years younger than Nick. I'm like 14 years younger than Kevin. So for me, it was like growing up, they were already adults and they were already like having these like complex experiences that I couldn't understand at all. But getting to watch this show, it brings me to like a sensibility where I can understand where their head was at in a lot of ways. But yeah, no, back to your other question. I mean, I just like, I made sure to at a certain point be like, all right, I've done everything that I can say on this topic. And if anything comes up, then like, sure, I'll go there. But for the most part, I've been able to give myself my own voice in talking about the nepotism that I've been able to acquire.
What is that? How do you define nepotism? And has it helped you or hurt you, you think?
I think it's helped me in a lot. I mean, it's helped me and it's hurt me in other ways. I mean, like, I think that I'm someone who's very, like, I've tried to be as aware of it as possible. I've been able to have experiences in my life that other people can never have because of my family and because of their experiences. If I was just some dude making videos about like watching hentai for the first time, people might not like it as much, or people might not have seen it and shared it as much as they would have if I am me because of my family. And that's helped me and been an amazing experience just to be able to have the life that I've been able to live. But at the same time, I like to stay aware of it because I can too quickly forget. You know, it's such an easy thing to be like, oh, like not to say that I'm in any way like going on the backs of their career because like I would never.
You just
want
happen to
do
be
that.
in their family. You know, you can't choose your family.
Their brother.
Yeah,
exactly, and that's why I used to say like I have a genetic form of nepotism that I cannot cure because like I physically cannot help the association, but being mindful of it is necessary.
Is that hard to come to though? Because like early on in life, like you could totally get lost in the glitz and the glamour, like because you're just kind of around it. You know what I mean? To a certain degree.
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, when we were in New Jersey, we were like, you know, we were a small family. We lived on a pastor's salary. Like that was like where we were at. And then, you know, you snap a finger and suddenly like we were on private jets and stuff. And it was like such a crazy experience for like a kid to go through that. It was like maybe a 6-month period of change from when we were, no, even less. It was like a couple months from when we were living in Jersey and then to when we were in LA working at Disney. So
wild.
It was so rapid.
When you look at everything that you've been through, where do you want to go? And what do you want to do? Because now you have a voice and you have a platform that is yours, right?
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's one of those things where like I didn't intend for this, so I have no idea. It wasn't like I came into this being like I want to get here.
Yeah.
There's been things that have come into my life. There's been so much. I've been like, so much has been brought to me that I thought was in part like impossible. That
Like
I mean,
what?
I've like for instance, I'm doing this like TikTok Fashion Week thing, which I'm so excited about. It's gonna be amazing. It's like I'm hosting their Fashion Week thing, their
amazing.
runway show, their like live stream. It's crazy. I would have never thought that I would have done that. I'm like being styled by like bigger brands. I love like it's like something that I've been obsessed with since I was a kid, but I never thought that I could like be in that world.
But it's something
but
you've seen
now
your
I'm-
brothers in, right? You've seen those around you be in that world.
I've watched them do like big brand deals. I've watched them do I've watched them do everything. And then to have people be reaching out to me and being like this. I've had phone calls with like production companies. It's like doors have been opened that I thought didn't exist.
Did it exist for you? Because you knew they existed for someone.
I didn't think they existed for me. I didn't think that there was a potential for me to like get on the phone and like pitch ideas or have people pitch ideas to me, right? I didn't think I was going to be on the Zach Sang show ever in my life, but like, you know, like that's like something that's like these things are so astronomical from my perspective like 6 months ago. I mean, 4 months ago. I've only been on the app for 3 months.
That's crazy. Do you think the way the algorithm works could be unhealthy for some? Like, do you think you'd be handling what you're going through differently if you didn't have the genetic nepotism that you know that was just given to you, predisposed upon you?
I think that it could be. I think that definitely if you're not prepared for it, it can be. I mean, even for me, it was definitely a lot. It was a mental. It was strenuous because I mean, a lot of this stuff all happened right as I started school. I'm back in school now for the first. I've been out of school for 3 years, and all of this has happened in conjunction with me starting up again in college, which has been crazy.
Is that hard? I mean, because it's probably hard without TikTok, to go to college if people knew your deal.
It's definitely a weird experience. I mean, it's hard. I mean, school is hard regardless. Luckily, I've been able to like make sure I'm prioritizing both of them equally, and because I mean, it does. I mean, one feeds the other, right? So with TikTok, I'm able to like afford college and like be able to do that. And then with college, I'm able to like think of ideas for videos, and like I'm able to be around people. Exactly, it's life, it's experience, and it's because I can only make so many videos about time before being in the public eye and being current, right? Before people get tired of it. And that's something about TikTok that I've learned because I've made friends within the app. Like I've really pushed myself into that world, and I've met so many amazing people. Like I never really thought that I would be I was never really savvy with social media, but because of TikTok and because of how fluid it is, I've been able to make these amazing relationships with other TikTokers where they can like coach me because they've been in it for so much longer than me. And with the app, you have to develop, and you have to like every couple of months you have to change, and you have to figure out a new version of your persona that does not neglect the people that've been there, but gives the opportunity to people who have like swiped past you and before.
So it's essentially like, every few months you put out a new album. It's like, you want to keep the best parts of what was, but you want to keep evolving. So you bring on new people. Like, so, I mean, creatively challenging TikTok, like in a weird way, even though it isn't? Or have you had to go through that shift yet?
I've had to go through that shift like 3 times. like 3 times I've had that moment of like, all right, how can I take my content and like sort of reinvent it in a way and develop it. And I've also had missteps of being like, all right, I tried this a couple of times. Like I made this, like I went through this 3-week period, or it was more like 2 weeks. I went like through this 2-week period of like where everything I was making, I was trying to be as awkward and uncomfortable as possible. And like for the first week, it was like killer. Like people thought it was really funny. And then I made this video, which was I made a Chick-fil-A mukbang, and it like bombed. And then I made another one after that, which was like the sequel to the Chick-fil-A mukbang, and like that bombed too. And I kind of realized like, okay, so now people are getting tired of this voice. And then I tried a couple more things, and I was like, all right, this is confirmed that we can now put this to rest and try something else and maybe come back to it in the future. And it's all about like timing in a way. It's more, I know my content seems super chaotic and random or like just entropic in the most the most innate sense. But like, I mean, it's really planned. Like everything that I post is super planned out.
Strategic. And you doing those dances and being, I mean, you really move your body in a way that I haven't seen people move.
I have Ehlers-Danlos, which is like I have hypermobility in my spine.
I didn't know that. What?
Nobody does that. No, people will always make comments like, "How do you move like that?" I have like a condition.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
No, it's
do
fine.
I apologize? I don't know.
No, don't apologize.
I've never met somebody like you before. So obviously, this is another shade to your personality, another layer to the onion.
Yes, another layer to the onion. I have hypermobility in my spine, and my skin is translucent in areas.
What? Wait, so you see it in the dark?
No, not like.
I can see through you?
Translucent would be the wrong word. Like you can see my bones in some areas. Like you can see my rib cage.
Whoa.
Like not like see it, like the outline of it. Like there's points where you can like visually like see it.
Does it hurt even more getting a tattoo?
Oh no. No.
Damn.
No. Yeah.
See through.
Why do you regret the Tana tattoo?
Honestly, no. Honestly, not at all. I think that tattoo. So she had reached out. Like I don't know. I've been like a YouTube kid. I've been like that's kind of my world in a lot of sense growing up. And so I've always known about Tana. I've watched her through the blossoming of her career, and when she followed me and then DM'd me,
your life changed.
It was like I was like, I'm like, this is real. Like this is a real thing that is happening right now. And she commented on this video that I made about tattooing myself, and I was like, I went up to my girlfriend. And I was like, this is like a moment that we have. Like, this is an idea that we cannot pass up. And she was like so supportive. We made it seem like she like hated it in the moment, but it was like she was like, "This is a great idea. This is gonna be exactly what you expect it to be," and like it worked. It did the thing. And like I'll be honest, as memorabilia goes from this moment that I'm having in life, like that's a great one. That's a great one.
Well,
and it's bigger than you think. Like it's like pretty big.
So you see it. It's a reminder. What is it a reminder
If I
of?
wear shorts,
Okay.
it is very apparent.
So hot summers in New York City. Good luck. Okay.
Hot summers, everyone's going to be wondering about the @Tana tattoo. And I just had some people read, like, some people were in my comments yesterday about trying to get Trisha Paytas to agree to have me on Frenemies if I tattoo @Trisha on my leg as well. So we'll see how that goes.
There's no way Trish the Fish, a friend of ours, and Ethan Klein, I'm not friends with him, but I love his eyebrows. I'm sure they'll have you on. I mean, what?
That's like, if any, okay, So, harken back to your earlier question. If there's like a goal out of all of this, it is to be on a podcast with H3 and Trisha.
So are you going to get the tattoo? Is that in the plans?
Or do you want her to agree to it first?
I need her to agree to it. I cannot do it. Listen, I'm down to just tattoo at Trisha or at Trish the Fish on my body at any point. I'm down. I'm here for it. But I do want some like verbal agreement
That you're going to get something. There is
that I will get something out of it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Well, this is. I don't really like to get into internet anything ever, but this seems like a place where we can connect the dots and introduce you to Trish. Trisha Paytas is the best.
Trisha is literally my queen. Like yes. I love her.
She's she's incredible, and I saw her concert. Highly recommend it. And I am a big fan of Frenemies. I've been watching it. It's the only YouTube podcast I watch.
It's really good. It's so good.
I just love that they're family, and I really love Trisha. I really do. I care about her. And she came on our show, and she dressed like Pam Anderson. Do you remember that, Daniel? In her green lace dress? She did on purpose.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
She's so great. I mean, she's the details with her. Really, she's on it.
I just think it's funny that the headlines are like, Joe's having a baby, Nick's married, Frankie gets Tana Mongoose's name tattooed on her thigh.
Tana Mongoose.
Nobody can really pronounce her last name.
And nobody can. And I think I tried to make a bit about that in the video. And I think, in a way, that's kind of what I want. Like, I want the headlines to be like, I don't like, what's wrong with this kid? Like, what is, like, fundamentally, like, what happens to him? Like, that's what I want.
Is that a story that you want people to really hear? Like, because clearly something, like, you've lived a life, dude. It's a storied life for somebody at your age. And, like, we've definitely established here, what you experience and soak in early on in life, like, you don't just let that go. Literally.
Absolutely not. And I think I kind of, coming into this, when it started to get real, I had this idea to really push into what it means to be, like, I wanted to be both the parody of the influencer but also, like, embrace it in a way where you can't tell. So even saying this, like, I'm at the point now that I theorized about 3 months ago when it was, I'm going to play into the YouTube stunts that I like watching, right? Of these vloggers who, like, would create these dramas and these narratives. And even now I'm in a place where it's like, I intended to become so much of a parody of it that I forgot that I was making a joke. And I've been able to accomplish it in a way where I think it's worked. I think it worked.
Is it because it is so deeply derived from who you are as a person? It's really not that far off from your actual being in reality?
I think partly. I think because of the fact that I've been able to be me in that role and be authentically like myself, right? Making jokes about poop, making jokes about, like, masturbation, making jokes about, like, whatever it is. I've been able to be me, but also embrace this other side of it where I can be both the influencer, but also the person making fun of the influencer. And I think that having the duality has been an important part of this rise to it. I think as reference, I would say, look at, like, the videos I made about Dick's Picks, like the Dixie, like, creator of the month. Like, those videos are very, like, prevalent in that, like, I am doing that bit harder than others.
To say the least.
I also think it's funny that you do make fun of yourself as being the fourth Jonas brother, and the two TikToks that are examples are the guy's like, how do you become part of the 1%? And you're like, have famous brothers.
Yep.
It's that easy.
It's literally that easy.
And then the other one was you duetted some guy, and you were crying in the shower, and the guy's like, I'm not even Kevin. I'm Frankie.
See that one was the real first big moment, was that video. Because that video, I didn't do anything in that video. I just sat in the shower in my clothes and cried. And that went huge. And that's to what you were saying about TikTok. It's so weird what does get viral. It's the things that you wouldn't expect. It's the things that don't have the massive budget. It's the things that don't get thought of for a month. It's the things that you do in these 30-minute spans of all right, how do I respond to this? How do I do a thing?
Frankie, when you're doing all of this, is there ever a time anybody in your family, whether it's your brothers or your mom or whoever it may be, dad, says hey, Frankie, let's tone it down a bit? Are they you do you?
There's been some times of yo, maybe let's take a step back. Let's just take a sec. Breathe on this. 'Cause I'm someone I'm willing to lay it out on the line if that was not obvious based on everything I've said thus far in this interview. But no, I think I can definitely forget that oh wait, people are going to hear this, right? And so their opinions of me are going to change. And I think partly I'm someone who I don't think that it's good to ever censor yourself for anyone, right? Never. I think that because I've grown up in a lot of different situations, whether it be before or after my brother's rise to initial success, or then that subsequent reclaiming of their success as a unit, or in their solo projects, or just in my own life. I've seen a lot of different aspects of life, and I've just realized I was always someone who tried their hardest to stand out in a way, and then at least in high school, and then at a certain point I stopped trying and was able to accomplish just standing out, and because I am I'm a weird kid, which you'd expect nothing less from my upbringing.
You today, do you think the you today would make you 10-year-old you, or I don't know, 9? I mean, you were super young. Would young you be proud of you today, you think?
I mean, I've accomplished the bare minimum of what I expected of myself at this age at that point, which was be covered in tattoos, and mostly ones, bad ones, so,
that. That was your goal.
That I gave to myself in panic attacks.
I mean, you're getting there, aren't you?
You have a.
Yeah, no, I'm fairly I'm at a point now where oh wait, no, am I wearing long sleeves? Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to. But I'm at a point now where I'm definitely fairly covered for a 20-year-old. But I think that I think my 10-year-old self would be proud of me, mainly because I've been able to, and this is where it gets into the honest vulnerability stuff, but because I've been able to overcome a lot of the difficulties I had at that age with my family's success, and being in the public eye, and it's scary for a kid to see crowds of people screaming and trying to jump over fences at your family. That's a weird experience. And so growing up with that, I think I dreamed about a day when I could sort of overcome my own fears and negative emotions about being in the public eye. And then because of that, it's very clear that now I'm just brutally honest in a almost very self-deprecating way, but at the same time I do it with love and good intention in my heart. So it looks to others, it would be oh, this is self-deprecating humor, but in actuality I'm just being honest. I'm not making fun of myself as much as I am just telling the truth.
And you're doing it all on your terms. This is not you riding shotgun, or being in the back of the family van that is literally riding through Fame USA. This is you driving the ship. It's done the way you want it, and it's totally your narrative. There's no the other narratives that come in are on your terms and when you want their narratives to come in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that now that it's become a thing, I get to have conversations like this where it's like it is vulnerable and it is more. It's not just presenting it in a joke. I can talk about these things and be funny, but I can also have like the conversations that are more vulnerable and honest. And that's something that I've been wanting to be able to do. And I have the opportunity to do those things now.
Do you feel like you spent a lot of your life trying to make a name for yourself and stop living in the shadows of others? Like you wanted people to see you as Frankie, not just the other Jonas brother?
I think, honestly, I thought it was impossible not to. So I didn't really, I did my best subconsciously, but like I wasn't actively trying. And it wasn't until I gave up trying to like be something other than myself that I was able, the moment that I stopped like caring was when all of this happened.
But it's so hard to not care, right? Because
So hard.
I can't even imagine growing up the way you did, truly, on
Crazy,
so many different layers. It's really remarkable. Just for so many different reasons, right? Because, like, what you brothers accomplished were amazing, and God forbid that cost them their thing. Like, do you know what I mean? There's 1,000 different ways where, like, it could be filled with pressure.
Yeah, I would also say, like, I think a lot of people can, when I tell about it, it's immediately like their perspective is like, oh, that would be hard, or oh, that's negative. And like it had its goods and it had its positives and its negatives, but for the most part, man, I mean, like I'm so grateful for my life experience. Like because it's put me in this beautiful position where like, I mean, I've been able to see the world. I've been able to do these things. I've been able to have life experiences that like most 20-year-olds will not have. Like, and
Totally.
It's given me this perspective on life and aged me in a way which really I couldn't be more grateful for. Every piece of it is and a lot of that was like me coming to terms with everything and being like, wow, like I have a different perspective and I'm grateful for it, you know?
Well, that's the truth. Like, it's hard to come to terms with it, but the good and the bad shaped you into the person and the artist that you are today and continue to be. And like, you really don't want it any other way, no matter how hard it was back then, right?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I couldn't imagine a life in any regard different than the one I've had. I am so glad because I would be, if you changed one minute detail of any piece of my life, I wouldn't be the same person I am today. I wouldn't be able to say the things I'm able to say today. I wouldn't, if I didn't my pants when I was 12, I wouldn't be able to come on this show.
But it's true. Like, if one of those ingredients were missing or altered, you really wouldn't be who you are and who you continue to evolve to become, you know?
The timeline branch that I like live on in the multiple universes that are like constantly being overwritten, like I'm so happy I'm on this branch. Like this one, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
No, you're cool.
This one rocks. This one's really dope. And yeah.
So you have no regrets or almost jealousy that you never became part of the band at all? You're happy with how it all played out?
No, I definitely don't. I could never do what they do. I'm so proud of them because they're like, that's their world, man. That's their baby. And they that I don't think anyone can do. It's just so them. And I've never wrestled with wanting to be a part of that band. I've always been a cheerleader of them because like to me it's, you know, that's like my big brothers. Like that's like they
are your big brothers. Like
they're my big brothers. They're my role models. They're the guys that I respect and the guys I look up to. And I'm more than anything, I'm just happy to be like have them in my corner as my friends. That's what I love. Like as supportive brothers and homies and like people that I go and play like Fortnite with when they have a minute.
I'm excited for your world. I'm excited to see the universe that you create and the narratives that you end up writing. And I mean, dude, the path is long and the future is pretty bright. And I'm just excited because you're a very unique influencer.
Thank you. I appreciate the quotation marks. Thank you, man. I'm excited for it too. This world is new to me and it's exciting, and it's cool that I get to do stuff like this. It's cool that I get to I've watched your show, and
sorry.
Now I'm on it, and it's yeah.
Two quick questions. One, because of how big you're growing in the influencer world, do you ever think about putting college to the side and putting all your focus on this because you can always go back to Columbia?
It's so that question's crazy because I always wanted to go to college, a really good school. I graduated high school when I was really young. I graduated at 15, and then I was going to go to a really good school, and then I messed up my ACT, and then I was just so, I don't know, ashamed that I just stuck with it and went to whatever school would accept me. So it's a big deal that I'm in school right now to me. And there's so many, it's definitely it's a debate that I've had in my head of do I stick it out that I'm fulfilled mentally in a way I've never been, right? And do I push down that rabbit hole, or do I accept the gratification and the immediacy? And because if I don't, because I do miss opportunities because I have an essay due tomorrow night, right? I do have that duality.
You mentioned earlier that you need that life. I mean, understanding what people are talking about and what, society is going through. I never went to college. I tried. College asked me to leave, but that's a story for another day. The point is, I've always seen college as depending on what you choose to major in and how intense your course load is going to be. Yes, it's fulfilling for your brain, but at any level, college is the most fulfilling socially, and it gives you access to people and walks of life and perspectives and just stories. Don't you want to know what the kids are doing?
Absolutely. And I think that right now specifically is such a weird time and such a unique time to be able to be in school with everything being on Zoom and stuff. It's it gives a really unique idea of what it is. And you can make content about what's happening right now because it's not going to happen in a year or two. I mean, as far as we know,
hopefully ever again.
Hopefully we'll never have to be in Zoom school again. But, it is this new paradigm that everyone's experiencing, which is, I think, useful for people who need content to make.
Yeah. Life, man. Life. Art imitates life. Or does life imitate art? For some. For some, I think life imitates. Well, for some, art. Well, I don't. Now I'm confused myself.
Yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, we're all just living. We're all just living. I think that people who accept that are the people who accept that, and then live.
And then live, and then exist, and then continue to breathe.
Existentialism.
Yeah, hopefully. Hey, Frankie Jonas, I have the most respect and appreciation for you, sir. I really thank you for giving us time and energy today. Really, seriously.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me time and energy. This has been a pleasure. I've had a lot of fun being on here.
Well, the first of many. You had one more question, right, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm sure you get asked this often, but
it's going to be one of those. What?
I'm sure he's expecting it.
All right.
Does the bonus Jonas name annoy you?
Oh, yeah, I hate that name so much. But at the same time, I also understand that that's what most people know me by. That's the name that most people associate with me. So if that's what you want to call me, go ahead. But for a long time, I was trying as hard as I could to get away from that name. Because in part, it is a little derogatory, right? It is yeah, it's a little not nice. But I think a lot of that comes with, acceptance of it all. And I think if that's what people know me by, then that's what people know me by. I hate it. It bothers me every time I hear it, but whatever.
Yeah, well, the reason I asked is because I assumed you didn't like it, but then you were talking about how you're kind of embracing everything that's happened and who you are and the meme that you've become in a way because of just, being the fourth Jonas brother. So I didn't know if now in your life you're okay, I accept it, I understand it, it's funny to me now.
It definitely is not funny to me now, but I accept it.
Around here and to the public, forever moving forward, you are Frankie Jonas. You are your own individual. You are not a bonus anything. You are very much a part of the bundle. Very much not an extra. What? Yeah.
I am very grateful of that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Jesus, I'm so sorry.
And congrats
on behalf of culture and society. Like what the was 2010 America, 2008 America thinking?
Man, it was a different world. We could do and say it was a very different world that we lived in at that time.
Camp Rock was on TVs. High School Musical 2 was thriving. The world was different.
They're still on TVs, actually. That's what's crazy. They still play that.
It is weird to think about, right? That holds up still.
No, I mean it does.
Yeah.
I mean Disney Plus. They're rocking it
forever.
Well, Frankie, you had some pretty good red carpet outfits back in the day. Well, gotta give you credit on that.
Man, I was a style icon. If there was anything that you could expect from me in my current career, looking back at that age, I mean, it's definitely a career in fashion. I rocked the All Saints, the deep cut V's, the Newsies caps, the scarves.
Dude, you took some bold moves with hats.
I took moves that have still never been attempted besides me. Was I an icon?
Yeah, but you continue to be. I really do think so. And to be honest, like your story isn't even written yet. So keep on going. And I'm excited to I'm just excited to be a part of it and to consume it with the rest of society. And I hope that you come on our show more often.
Absolutely.
You're really incredible.
This has been amazing. I've loved this. Thank you so much. No, I appreciate your words, and I'm excited for everything that's coming. It's crazy.
And we'll make a plea right now to Trisha Paytas. We'll get this to her.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get in frame. I can be on my knees.
Okay,
hold
got it.
We'll
That's appropriate, I think.
Okay.
Knees.
Hold on. Trisha, please accept me in my humble state. All I want in my life is to be in front of me with you and Ethan. If you hear this, know my heart is humbled, and know that my soul is indebted. I love you, Queen.
I'm gonna cry.
Right,
I'm gonna cry.
That's good.
Yeah,
wow, and
man.
that was serious. That was from the heart.
No,
that was vulnerable.
Wow.
We made great moves today.
We really did. I have goosebumps and a single tear is about to emerge from my right eye.
Well,
I gotta go.
I was gonna say you are the only person I think has made me cry laughing in an interview.
Yeah, you were phenomenal.
It was hysterical.
Frankie Jonas.
Guys,
everybody.
I made it.
Yeah.
I made it. All right. Let's give a round of applause to all of us. We did it, guys. We did it.
Hey, beautiful human, thanks for watching our full interview, but I get it. Like, a full interview is a lot. So we got a clips channel. We don't expect you to watch the full thing anymore, so we just gave you the highlights. Please subscribe and notifications and all that stuff. Okay, cool. I love you.